I know you just put up to the bar, but we closed.
Come on, man. You gotta be able to give me a shot, man. Come on.
You look like you need a drink, man, but I hate to tell you this, man. We about to close.
So you need to tell me all these people out here, they got drinks and they got shots, but I can't get nothing. The bar closed that soon?
Okay, man. I don't know what else to say. I got this shorty half my age at the crib, and I'm trying to get to her. But last call was 10 minutes ago.
You know what? It's alright. Don't even worry about it.
All right. Tell you what. I'm gonna get you one drink, cause it look like you need
one drink. I can do one drink. I can do one drink, cause I really yeah.
Hey man, anything, man. Look like you got a lot on your mind and you need a friend right now. Pour it on me. Ain't no lie.
Talk with Jay. Welcome. One of the things I'm gonna do is brought to you by is Craftmatic Minecraft. Yes, he gets to a point where he's gonna show you guys new things. So a lot of times we be talking about on our show about how we mentally ain't prepared. Tell you what, he got a book now. It's coming out and it's gonna be strong enough to take you through all them hard times. So Craft, tell us all about it.
Yes, sir. First of all, the name of the book is Activate Your Mind, and it is an opportunity for you to develop yourself right in your own living room. No one ever really taught us how to think. No one's ever taught us how to manage our own emotions.
True.
And so I wanted to create a resource where you could kind of study your thoughts and study your emotions. And we all have the ability to figure it out, but sometimes we're kind of spinning our wheels,
right?
And not really focused on the best thoughts, not really focused on the right attitude and the right understandings. So this book is really going to give you an opportunity to see the world from another perspective.
All right.
When I talk about things like time delays or setbacks, or I talk about frustrations, when I talk about the feeling of sadness or the feeling of depression, I help you bottle all of those up into something that is tangible and outside of yourself. So that if you're feeling frustration, you have to talk to the spirit of frustration. Frustration, you are not welcome here. I declare that you are bound and you are cut off, and you shall not affect my spirit. This spirit is meant to be happy. This spirit is meant to be productive. This spirit is meant to be satisfied within. And I declare that frustration, you shall not live here. I'm not doing anything different than we've always known about fear, right? Fear, I cast you out. Right? Sadness, I cast you out. Depression, I cast you out. Frustrations, I cast you out. And so I'm teaching you in this book how to address things, how to align your mind with right understanding, so you can use your personal power in order to overcome these things in life. I promise you, sadness and frustration and setbacks, all of those are spirits. They're spiritual. And you can't tend to spiritual things through the physical world. You have to tend to spiritual things through spiritual things. And the most spiritual thing that we have is our thinking. And so we have to learn to elevate our thinking, because the elevation is what causes the overcoming. Right? When I can elevate above frustration, I have overcome frustration. When I can elevate above self-doubt, I have overcome self-doubt. When I can elevate above stress and those type of things, I have overcome them. So it's all about mental ascension and how to move your mind to a place where you can feel powerful and overcome the concerns and issues that happen to be going through life. Long and story short is that every man will fall. Every man or woman will fall. You're going to have a setback. You're going to have a hardship. You're going to have something that will rattle your spirit unlike you never thought possible. And the question becomes, how do you quicken yourself back to wholeness? How do you quicken yourself back to strength? Some people get hurt and they lollygag for years. And they play old tapes and they're saying all these awful things to themselves. And that really just don't produce fruit. And so I'm trying to get you to overcome that hurdle in a very short period of time, get your feet back on the ground and start moving forward in your right direction. We're not allowed to wallow in our spirits anymore. Right? You're not allowed to sit around and just worry and be troubled and just be frustrated and filled with anxiety, that is not allowed anymore. That is what I call subpar humanity. That is beneath your potential. You have the potential to overcome any and everything that faces you. And God has already given you all of the strength and all the peace and all the love, but sometimes we're not aligned with it. And so when you align with that peace, it opens your spirit up for that peace and that love and all that good fruit to come through your spirit. So real excited about the book. Again, it's called Activate Your Mind. It's a reference tool for life. It's not a book meant to be read front to back, cover to cover. It's a book where you decide on what you need and you go and get that. And so you literally could develop yourself in 5 minutes a day. Okay. All right, significant development.
I like that. I like it because it's more like encouraging to keep your mind in the right place.
Self-encouragement. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Because I like it because, again, you know, I always look for things that empower me. And again, I always like the short version so I can automatically listen to it and just get it in my mind, and then I'm repeating it throughout my day. So it starts me on a high, not a low.
And that process that you use, Jay, is perfect for this book because what this book does is it gives you what we call mental equivalents. So it's going to give you 3 or 4 powerful ideas. And what we want you to do is to take those ideas and play them in your head.
Okay.
Wrap your mind around them. Visualize what they would look like. Say them to yourself all day. That is how you really start to shift the inner spirit. Like I picture a billboard. Okay. In the middle of small town, Broken, USA.
Okay.
And on this billboard, it's going to say major come-ups. And every time people look at that billboard, they're going to start to think about what a major come-up would look like in their life. Right. They're going to get excited about major come-ups. Okay. Before you know, the transformation is going to take place from the mind to the reality. Because the tapes that you play in your head shall surely come forth as your reality. And so, you know, that's the core value here is that thoughts create reality. And so if I could put a billboard that says truly peaceful on the inside, and people just read those words, truly peaceful on the inside, they'll start to identify with it, right? But right now they don't have the resource to identify with. So what I've basically done is I've given you 1,000 thoughts of being happy, whole, complete, and perfect. And I'm just asking you to study those thoughts. If you study the thoughts, somehow they're going to take hold of your spirit and they're going to open your spirit to something greater and good in your life. We have to use God's universal law. The law says whatever you think about, you draw to you. Right? And so if I want to be productive in life, I just need to think about being productive. Life is not difficult. The mind is not difficult. It is very complex, but it's not difficult because if you tell your mind, I want to be organized, I want my things in order, I want to always be ahead, I want to never be behind, I want to prove that I can do things beforehand, I want to have leeway time. If you start speaking that reality, then it's going to become your reality. I hear that. The spoken word becomes the flesh. And so we're using old proven principles to help people through a self-development process. And I think this is going to change the world, Jay. I'm so excited about it. I really believe this is going to be a strong
where your passion is, I can believe it.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay.
You got that passion, and obviously you got a purpose.
Yes.
And you're in it. So again, you know, when y'all talk about peace and happiness, is when you find that. You know, it just gives you that drive. You know, I know before the show, we both went through the heat. I don't know about anybody else in Georgia, but here lately it's been hot, you know, and we work hard and we still develop and still come here and do what we do. You know why? Because we're driven. And again, purpose is everything. I mean, again, a life purpose gives you a lot of meaning. You know, even though we work these jobs, it's past that.
Yes.
We do this because of enjoyment. And again, some of the other stuff we do for the money to sustain. You know, because again, it's somewhat like slavery when it comes to the workforce. But to me, getting your mind right, get you out of that slave chain mentality and get you back to a place where I know what that purpose is for. and that way I can walk better. That's why I try to start on the high. Because again, I know I got to do this job, but it's so much I got to do after.
Yeah.
And the things I want to accomplish. And again, I like it when I go in there on that high, because then everybody else want to be on that same high. They be like, man, I love your energy. You know, and I'm starting to know some people want to match it. And that
They will always match it.
And that comes from that positive source of what you have in you.
Yeah. If you walk into a room and everybody's laughing, you have no idea what they're laughing about, but you'll start laughing too. Right? Because we're all energy. It's just energy. Like attracts like. And you walk into a room where everybody's sad and frustrated and mad and bitching and complaining and moaning.
I try to walk out.
You will pick up some of that too.
Yeah, no,
Right? Misery loves company.
Yes, it does.
And you'll stay in that space as well. So we're excited about the book. We're going to keep you tuned in on its delivery date and how to get a hold of it. Let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. This is Bar Talk with Jay. My name is Craftmatic. This is my boy Smooth Jay. And we want to thank you folks for being with us tonight. Again, just our opportunities to be leaders here in our own community. And we're going to chop it up on a subject tonight, as we always do.
Yes, we do.
And we have found that as you talk about a subject, somehow great wisdom starts to just come out. Somehow understanding just starts to take place. Just discussing a topic or an issue seems to bring healing. And so we've captured that here at Bar Talk with Jay. And so we hope that you can grow from this show. We hope you can hear something that's going to make a difference in your life. We hope that you will be willing to open up, hear the message, and decide how you're going to use it.
Yes.
That's what's important here, right? How are you going to take this 30 to 40 minutes of dialogue and make a difference in your life?
Come on.
That means you got to make some decisions. And I want you to make some clear, conscious decisions based upon what you hear tonight. We like to think this is somewhat therapeutic.
Are they lying?
But we just want to thank you again for being here with us tonight. We always start the show off with a prayer. And before the prayer, let me just share the topic for tonight. Tonight, we're talking about double standards and accountability.
I got a lot to say about that accountability.
Double standards and accountability. And somehow those two lines just have to cross at a certain point.
Yeah.
And we just want to talk about it. So let's hand this over to the Lord and get his insight and really let him know what we're trying to achieve here tonight. Heavenly Father, we come to you now just to thank you for your power and your presence. We thank you for your strength and your love. We thank you for this life that we live. We ask, Heavenly Father, that you would be here with us tonight to inspire us on the topic of double standards and accountability. Seems like a tangled web we weave, Heavenly Father.
Yes.
Right? And so we're asking you to give us some wisdom and some understanding, nurture our spirit on this subject. Show us, Lord, how to overcome double standards and how to hold accountability both to the world and to ourselves on the subjects that will propel us into a greater and better life. Be here in this show to do your good and perfect work. We hear you. We know that you are with us, and we allow you to share your wisdom and inspiration. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen. So double standards and accountability. Where would you start at, Jay?
I'm going to have to start with that accountability.
Accountability.
I got to start there because I wasn't always accountable. I was toxic. I used to blast back instead of listening to understand. I listened to fire back. And what I mean by that is, a lot of times people might read you or tell you some things that you're doing that might hurt their feelings, or they just feel like you just being mean. All right. Well, a lot of times I hear that and I fire back about things they was doing. So I really didn't take accountability into what they was just saying. I took account that I got offended or I got mad of the things they were saying. So I felt it was just easier for me to fire back than to take the time to listen to what they were saying, to see what all I was doing. So I fired back and it just seemed like it really wasn't going nowhere. And of course I made it seem like, you ain't perfect either. So why are you on me? And that again is a reflection that I don't want to change. But again, to mature, you are looking to change. You want to be better, especially when you're not doing things how you perceive them. I perceived I was doing things the right way. This is just my world, is this, but I wasn't taking accountability of other people's feelings and how other people was hearing what I was saying. So when I stopped being so defensive and I started listening to, and it wasn't that person, it was somebody else telling me some things, and it lined up to some of the stuff that I was hearing.
Right.
And I was like, wait a minute, that's not what I was trying to put out. So now I have to hold a little accountability, because now I really feel like I wasn't right. So I had to start looking at me and the things I was doing, how I was presenting things. Sometimes my landing was rough. How I was bringing stuff came really fast and hard. And that's not what I really meant, but that's how I was doing things. So it's like, okay, so next time somebody brought something to me, instead of me lashing out, I took time to listen. And then there's some times that I actually told them, let me get back with you. I ain't even see it that way. Let me get back with you. Because I have to take time to digest.
See, I'm going to tell you what I'm hearing in this conversation, Jay.
What you hearing?
Because I know you.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Right? And you know me, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because when you're listening to someone, if they're coming at you the wrong way, you're not hearing what they're saying. Because if they're coming at you the wrong way, you start to be like, who are you? Why are you coming at me like this? Or are you trying to tear me down? Are you trying to be a smart ass? Are you trying to be facetious? Because I'm very sensitive to that, right? Because the people who are in my world, the people who I love and the people who love me, they're not smart asses. They're not gonna come at me to the left. You ain't gonna hear no little thing coming out the side of their mouth talking about, well, you ain't been doing this or you ought to be doing that. I'm not gonna hear that from my loved ones. It's the people on the outside who may be judging me, right?
They think they know you.
Yeah, think they know me or think they understand my task at hand or my goal or my objective at hand. And they'll be coming at me to the left. I'm very, very sensitive about that because, it just seems like in nowadays world, you got to check people who are on some bullshit. And most of the people who are coming at you, they're coming at you with limited information.
Right.
And so they're trying to press their narrative and they don't even know. And I used to be quiet, right? In fact, I still do a lot of but when I realize as soon as the information is coming at me and it starts to frustrate me, the first question I ask is, who's talking to me? And so if I say to myself, the person talking to me matters not. If they have no stake in the game, if they don't like me, I don't like them, or if they just people who, in fact, I might see somebody coming at me who I've seen do that nonsense to other people. And so now their message is like so flaky to me, right? Like I got this glass screen wall up that's just pushing all the nonsense to the back because what they're really trying to do is pump themselves up. They're not really trying to help me. They're trying to come down on me, right? And see, that's why we have to be very careful. If you know that the person who's talking to you cares about you, then you can take the heat that they're delivering, right? But if they don't give a shit about you, I ain't trying to hear none of that, right? So when we talk about double standards, yeah, there is a double standard in the world. Yeah, I'll listen to you cuss me out because I know you care about me. But I'm not going to listen to him cuss me out or her cuss me out because they don't care about me, nor do they know. They're really just trying to big themselves up. Yeah. Right? It seems like I'm having numerous conversations in the world where, and this is not an egotistical statement, but I'm having numerous conversations in the world, Jay, with people who I'm way ahead of. Like I'm on my second or third life, and they on the first round trying to give me advice and coach me and tell me, but I done been there, done that, and so I don't like to come off, like I'm arrogant, or I don't like to come off like I'm know too much, or like I don't want to be listening, like I don't want to be humble. But sometimes the shit's so elementary that I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like I got to check you. Like, let me ask you a question. You telling me I should do this? Have you ever done this? Oh, you've never done this, but you're trying to tell me, oh, okay, now I
What kind of advice
well,
is that?
Yeah, well, why won't you just listen to me? I would listen to you if you came from a place of knowledge. But based on what you're sharing with me, you don't understand my issue. You don't understand what's really going on. You kind of just popping off at the mouth. Maybe you're trying to give me the limited information that you have.
Ooh, no, you didn't.
Right? I'm not going to say this to him.
I don't know.
But
That's a good point.
But in my mind, I'm thinking maybe they're just, they know a little something and they're coming from the right heart, the right perspective, but it's so shallow from where I am. I remember years ago, people used to tell me how to market. I'm in sales and marketing. I've been there for years. They would tell me, well, what you need to do is you need to get some business cards and you need to get a website. And I'm like, I did all that like 8 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
You so behind me.
Yeah, like, okay, I'm just going to listen to you because you're in the right place. But then I'm going to correct some of the young stunners like, do you know that you should never have a business card? You should never give a business card to somebody without asking them what they're going to do with it. And people are just handing out business cards. So the point here is that there are some people, there is double standards in the world. There's some people you'll be willing to listen to and you can hear from, and there's some people you can't. And I think it's interesting how this conversation is unfolding. Some people you can trust, some people you can't trust, but in the midst of all of it is the accountability layer. Because I'm going to hold you accountable if you start talking to me about something I already know. I'm going to let you know what I know sometimes, and I'm going to let you what you don't know, because I don't want to have a conversation where you're talking down to me. Right? We can't have that. That's not in the cards, because people who love you don't talk down to you. Your parents don't talk down to you. Your best friend don't talk down to you. They might try to instruct you, and they might try to help you. You know what I'm saying? They might try to even remind you of where you failed at before, but they're not trying to tear you down. Right. And I think that perspective is the whole experience, really.
And the craziest thing when you talk about the business card and people want to hand them out, if they show more accountability, people will ask for it. Because that's what you want. You want somebody that's accountable, that's telling you some things, giving you some information, and they're sharing it to you freely. And then you be like, I love your energy. You know what I'm saying? You got any business cards? You got any? Because they want to stay in contact with you. And that's how people should push it compared to throw it. Right. Throw the business card. But I don't know nothing about you. You quick to pass this because you want me to use it, but I don't even know who you are. It's a picture and it's a name, and I ain't got nothing to relate to it. But you telling me what I need to do, and you're not asking me anything. So yes, that card going in the trash. Yeah. But when somebody giving me that knowledge and that information, and again, that's forthcoming, or welcome in, I seen you was looking over there and just throwing, because you in sales, at that vehicle right there. Is that your dream cars, or what you thought you had? So at this point, I'm getting into your head to understand what you want, but I can help you. At this point, you're going to probably be more open to talk to me compared to, this is what you need. I see you in that, and they just, people are getting tired of that. You see me in it, but you don't know my credit score. You don't know nothing. I just looked at it. Now you put me in.
I had somebody recently come into my life, right? And what this person continues to convey to me is that, you know what? All you need is a little X, Y, and Z. All you need a little X, Y, and Z, and you gonna go to the. I'm telling you, as soon as you get some X, Y, and Z, you gonna go to that. I'm like, how you figure all this out? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? If I need all this, what do you think you need?
Lord.
And so to have somebody coming at you like that, like they can see your future, and they potentially can. You know what I'm saying? But they like to judge a thing as though it's not where it's supposed to be. They like to judge a thing as to where something's wrong or something needs to get fixed before you move on, right? And I'm looking at this person like, okay, it don't look like you ever did anything in your life. You know what I'm saying?
Ouch.
It look like you've been babysitting for a lot of years.
Ouch.
Now you're trying to be a real leader.
Wow.
Something ain't right here,
I'm not feeling you.
So tell me where double standards come in, Jay, in your mind in relationships.
Well, some of the double standards, again, we go back to this accountability. I really feel like it was double standard because, again, I was the one dishing things out, and then I wasn't even listening to really give a fair chance. I try to control more situations than have a better understanding. But then when that person was trying to give it back to me, I fired back. And I fired back in such of a negative way, I was really toxic. And so I had to be more accountable to understand my toxicity and how I wasn't adding value. But yet, and to me, what the double standard was, you can't come at me, but I can come at you.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You couldn't give me corrections,
yeah,
but I can correct you. And again, that's where that fussiness comes from. And again, when I start understanding more of what I was doing wrong, I start kind of pulling back. And then I think one of the things a lot of people here in their married is womp to womp, womp, womp.
Yeah.
And we all get to a point, and I really want to push back from when it's womp, womp. Because a person is trying to usually communicate, and they're trying to constantly communicate to you. And it sounds like it's just being repeated and repeated, repeated. But one of the things I did learn is being repeated because they don't see no actions being done. So they keep going back to the well because it's almost like you're not perceiving it, understanding it, or anything. And then you don't admit to it. You don't even say, well, I hear you. Yeah, it's just like you're going to take that trash out. You're going to do this. And it's like, yeah, whatever. And again, it womp, 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 womp. But then you forget. And then it don't happen. So then she feels like she got to remind you again. Now you feel like she's just bitching. And all you do is bitch. But truthfully, you have some accountability there because you didn't do.
You didn't do.
And you're not answering to what you didn't do. It's just you bitching. I'm not changing. I'm telling you bitching. So you basically trying to tell her to be quiet, shut up.
Right. But
you're not fixing or doing anything on your part. And again, it could be something that y'all communicate. You always take out the trash. This is you. This is what you agreed to. But now all of a sudden you ain't got time to do it. Or you don't want to do it. But you never communicated nothing back. That's why I felt like I was falling short and a victim to that double standard. Where I communicated I was going to get things done, and then I didn't do it. And then when I'm able to sit there and be like, okay, it's womp, but hell, you didn't do none of this stuff. Because I started listening. And that's one of the key things that we tend to forget because we get comfortable. So don't get comfortable where you don't listen. And I know her enough that she ain't going nowhere and all this because that gets annoying to her. And it's a double standard that's not good. One of the things I can tell you, it helps in not making a double standard is accountability. And that's when you listen and accountable for your actions and then communicating it where they understand. My biggest problem was I never just said, something, you're right, babe. I didn't do it. And I never admit my wrongs. I would just go do it. Like, right? But I would never ever say she was right. I just go do it. And then sometimes she's just looking for that validation of, so I was right. But, to me, I did it. So what you still bitching about? You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to hold that upper leverage, which was never no leverage. But when I start communicating and saying, something, forgot about it, but I got you. I'm gonna make sure this happens. It's almost like a relief to her. She's like, oh, so you do hear me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but again, I had to go through a couple relationships before I found some of my faults. Yeah. Not saying that always worked either, because there's some people that just give it back to you.
And some people want to hold you accountable, but they don't want you to hold them accountable.
Oh, no. Well, yeah, I met them too. Lord have mercy.
Right? And that's when it becomes pushy. It becomes somebody who's always pushing. They
always right.
Yeah. I've had people who I didn't like to work with professionally or personally because they felt the need to always remind me of what I needed to do. And I wasn't reminding them of what they needed to do. I figured they grown like I'm grown. I'll handle my business and get mine done. Right. You handle yours and get yours done. But they were, well, did you do this? Or did you get that done? Or did you think about this?
See?
And so
putting you in a negative mood.
Automatically putting you in a place where, like, you're trying to parent me.
Yeah, thank you.
Or you're trying to be my manager or my leader or my boss. Because, again, I've done so many projects and done so much good work in the world with other people and with teams of people that when that nonsense starts coming across, I recognize it immediately. You recognize they're not a team player. You recognize they're popping off at the mouth to make themselves feel good. You recognize they're not really dialed into the bottom line of the vision. They just got something to say, right? Don't get it twisted here, folks. We are all interested in growing, being better, learning, and many of us can even say we're all willing to change. But we're not going to do any of those things for nonsensical reasons. They have to be our reasons. You're not going to change for my reason. You're going to change for your reason. And hopefully your reason can take into account how I'm feeling.
Thank you.
What I need as your spouse, as a significant other, right? But if my needs get too heavy, then the accountability is this may not be a good fit.
There you go.
Right? This may not work because you expect lots of things from me, and until I'm not getting it, you're probably not going to hear my expectations. But once I'm not getting it, I'm going to express it. And then once I express it and I'm still not getting it, I'm probably going to start to fade. I'm probably going to start to give up, right? So, we all need to learn. We all need to grow. And, double standards are very real in the world.
Yes.
You can think about sometimes how men are treated versus how women are treated.
I see that.
Right? Not that I ever want to be treated like a woman, but I need some liberty too. You know what I'm saying?
But a lot of times, think about our kids.
Yeah.
They always thought it was a double standard because you allow the boys to do certain things, but not the girls.
But not the girls, right?
But we're training the girls to be princesses, and you can't do the things that because you're not built like him.
Right.
And I have to guard that. I mean, you need to guard yourself. So they feel like it's a double standard, but really we're trying to show you it's a difference. But you hear it all the time. You treat him so much different than you treat me.
Yes.
I even hear it with my boys. You treat one different. Well, one's older, so I have to hold him more accountable.
And one may be more committed to you than the others are.
Oh my goodness, yeah, we want to go there,
right? I mean, that's an important part of it.
It is,
right? I'm going to give the person. I'm going to give attention to the person who's giving attention to me.
Yeah.
That's called love, right? I'm going to love those who love me. I'm going to care for those who are caring for me. And if they're showing me more care than perhaps you are, that you're probably going to feel like it's one-sided. You're probably going to feel like it's a double standard, but it's not a double standard. It's we each are staying in our own lanes. I talk to you once a week. I talk to them every day. Why? Because they call me. They call me every other morning and say, how you doing? What's going on? How was your day yesterday? How you feel about that situation? They seem to care about what's going on. Now, if I don't hear from you but once a week, that's not a bad thing. But I'm probably going to respond in that way. I'm going to probably respond to that once a week attitude versus that daily.
And I tell you, my girls are like that. Jazz will call me a lot more than Pam, but Pam is standoffish. She's self-sufficient. She's the kind of person that she don't want you to bother her. But she wants you to care. She want to hear that you call and check on her. But overall, she really don't. You talk to my sister because she already know she's that more attentive person that wants to be talked to. She needs that. But again, you got to know them.
Right.
And then when you give them their individual qualities, they just blossom in a way that she's going to call or she's going to talk to Jazz because I talk to Jazz a little bit more. And Jazz is going to tell her, yeah, he asked about you. And she's going to be happy because, again, I'm always asking. And that's where the love comes from, is understanding. Yeah. And, again, that right there is just that accountability to know your kids.
Yeah.
And to be in a good lane with them where they can at least grow and feel responsible.
Right.
Now, the boys, we'll talk about them a little bit.
Let me ask you this question, Jay.
What you got?
Let's talk about how we respond when we see a double standard is taking place before us. So the boss man makes me schedule my extra 2 days off, 30 to 45 days off. 30 to 45 days out.
Right.
But his tight boys, they can take off next week like it ain't nothing. What do you do when she goes out and hangs out with her friends, but when you get ready to go hang out with your friends, it's going to create a problem? You got to hear a lot of nagging, right? What happens when she goes and spends $1,000 on a Berkeley bag, whatever, but You want to go spend $1,000 on a golf trip, right? What do you do when you realize that you're on the south end of a double standard?
I've been there. And again, that conversation was so hard. And it was easy to have, but it was hard because they didn't care to hear it.
They didn't care to hear it.
And that's what made it a little bit more difficult, because I thought it would be too obvious because of her actions. You're doing this. And again, this person didn't go out like that. But the spending was like, you was doing things and I'll find out later. And the cost, when you saying we got to do some things, but you're spending a lot of it. And then you get mad when I bring it to your attention because this is what you was doing. But again, we handling bills differently. We spoke on this, but now you breaking some of that because you feel like, hey, I got a little extra. I can do this. I'm not trying to manage all your money.
Right.
I'm just trying to make sure all mine go to the right places. Then all your extras go wherever you want.
Right.
And it's like, okay, but you want another car. So again, your car was before I met you. And again, you didn't put no maintenance into it. So I'm starting to put some maintenance in to keep it going. Now you want another one, but now you expecting me to buy it, and everything's just on me. And you going out here buying things that a Birkin bag.
You ain't playing with your money,
and I really
you want me to.
I'm not appreciative, Tory Burch. You giving me names that don't mean nothing to me. Okay,
and don't mean nothing to her either.
Right, because you putting this on and you showing, and you wasn't that way when I met you, but now you feel like you can be. But we never spoke on it. You just doing it. And now when I speak on it and say, hey, when we talking about budgeting and trips, I'm noticing you doing a lot of extra. All of a sudden now it's an argument. And what you mean? Why I can't spend it? It's my money. And well, I ain't saying it ain't. But we always said we was going to agree on certain things. And my whole thing is on the upfront. And that's what I love about boundaries. When we said some things on the upfront, that wasn't one of them.
Right. So
it's not an argument. You're going out of bounds. And I really want to catch it early for it don't become an argument. And some strange reason it becomes all.
And watch this. She's going out of bounds based on your needs. She's going out of bounds based on what you need to see and what you want. And if she's not willing to hear that, there almost is no way to fix that, right? Because she has to be at least willing to see it your way.
And listen,
did she ever see it your way?
One of them. The first one
out of a dozen.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the
first one.
That's a C, D, E in my.
That's
an F in my.
I didn't fire over it, but of course we didn't make it. You know why? Because again, we set boundaries for these things to not occur. When a person keep crossing a line that you set, because again, you're trying to build something, and they keep crossing, you can't expect it to go any better because it gets worse. And my whole thing is I had to start cutting because we came with a conscious decision of what we was trying to do. My whole thing is there's been times I went over the boundaries and did some things, but I had to come back and let her know, hey, it's last minute. I got this. You know what I'm saying? It was that kind of discussion. Oh, okay. I see what you mean now. But when they did it, I had to catch it, like in the trunk. I got some stuff in the trunk. Why are these shoes? And because she was hiding it in the trunk. Because again, she was still out there doing things, and she kept it in the trunk because she knew it was in the closet. I see it. So it's like, what the? Because again, some people just have that bad habit. So again, a couple of them didn't catch it, but that's why I learned boundaries, set some things up. In the future with other people, when I'm setting them up, they don't have a problem with it because they're like, yo, I like structure. Some people don't like structure. They like freeballing it, spending, doing whatever until accountability hits them. Right. And they be like, well, you the man.
Right.
The man that tried to lead us in a better direction.
Just ain't, I ain't listening.
No. Just spend it.
I think one of the key points when you find yourself in the midst of a double standard is you have to in some way share a message that explains how you feel about what happened. And sometimes you need a woosah message. Sometimes you need to wait until it's quiet in the middle of the night. And maybe she almost half asleep. I'm like, honey, I just want to talk to you about something real quick. I really feel like, we're not doing this right. You're not listening to me, and I understand it. And you got to find the quiet way. And then, there obviously are those occasions where you just got to speak your mind. And hopefully you can speak it in a loving way.
I was just going to tell you.
Hopefully you can speak it in a conscientious way where you care about feelings. Hopefully, if you decide that you're going to speak up, and we all know it takes a lot to get to that decision. Because sometimes you just want to fade it and you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to. Nobody likes to create arguments, right?
No, they don't.
But once you make up your mind to say it, and again, it can be challenging to do that, but once you make your mind up to say it, it's very important as to whether the person you're talking to is willing to at least hear you out.
Now, I'm going to tell you, that's so key. And one of the things I do, and I give a nugget, I have some people that love massages, right? So I say, how's your day at work? Is your day rough? Now, I have to have this conversation about the spending because I see some, and I seen some things. I say, you need a massage? Oh, yeah, you don't give me a massage? Yeah. As a massage, and I'm talking. I said, now listen, I need you to take a woosah moment. Relax. But just let me talk and massage you, okay? Because I want to go over some things, but I want to make sure you feel good. Because some things I say might be a trigger, but don't let it trigger you. Just hear me. And I'll be massaging, I'll be letting her know. It's like, yo, I seen you doing a little extra spending. But I'm going to tell you right now, listen, let that go. Relax and just know I'm there for you. I got you. But we there you go, next to work.
Hey, next time I tell you the shit like that. Hey,
I knew you.
Hey, I'm gonna need you to do it my way. You understand? You understand? I know, Jay. That's called what do they call that? When somebody faking you out?
Hey, that's just a finesse. That's just a small finesse.
Don't hate the player.
But hey,
Don't hate the game. Hate the game, right?
Hey, all day long.
Yeah.
But again, it can work.
It can work. I ain't never seen that work. In fact, one of the challenges that I've always had in relationships is if a disagreement is happening and it lasts several days, I start to ask myself the question: is it possible for me to get up tomorrow morning and go buy her a dozen flowers? A dozen. I don't be feeling like wanting to do that. I don't, you know what I'm saying? And I started to get in trouble because I'm starting like, she don't deserve no flowers from me.
But when she wrong, how am I rewarding bad behavior?
I don't want to reward bad behavior, but you got to continue to show love. If you're going to be in a relationship.
I do.
Now you're showing love, and you might not be able to be feeling that love.
No, at all.
Right? Now you're doing things to make her feel good.
She's spending all my money now.
It ain't coming from here. It's just coming from here. Right, and that can be a challenging scenario, right? And you don't get up from no argument wanting to do nice stuff for your significant other. That's just not the way life works. But you have to do it sometimes, and you have to continue to think about it, especially if it's their special day, a holiday, a birthday, or something of that nature. The point I wanted to make here as we get ready to close is that double standards are happening all around us, and me and Jay used to always, for many shows, we always preached about picking your team.
Yes.
And then we always talked about taking your L's. Mm-hmm. And of course, we always talked about just sometimes you just got to stand in the gap for yourself and by yourself. And, if things aren't going the way you go, you wind up sacrificing in every relationship. You wind up sacrificing one thing for another. Mm-hmm. And so this person may be a little naggy, but they take good care of the kids, or they take good care of you. They may be not willing to follow the protocol all the time, but they got a real loving heart. You know that they're bad with money and they don't like taking directions and all that stuff, but they're going to be there for you when the times get hard, and they ain't going to never drift away. They're not the kind of people that's going to turn their back or run from the pressure. They're always going to be in the gap. So we find that there's always going to be those things about people that we can't stand, but we need to love through. And that's an important part of double standards is
Right.
I can't stand the way he talks to me, but I know he got my back. And so you got to sacrifice a little bit in those equations.
I'm gonna tell you before closing, one of the things that I like is when I have certain discussions, like we always went to the living room, right? And it was always said, we're going to the living room, we're gonna talk this out. When we get back in this bedroom, we ain't talking that no more.
Right.
And I always liked it because sometimes the discussions in that living room got a little heated.
Yeah.
Well, you walked in the door, and it's been a couple of times where they wanted to continue, but they knew the rules. And you just know we're going to have to go back to the living room tomorrow. You know, and it was always funny to me because we was able to sleep in a peaceful state.
That's good stuff.
Because if you keep it going,
yeah,
it has hardly any resolve. You stay up all night. But when we went in that room, because we both know we had to get up early, it was almost like when we was in the living room, I know you're ready to go in that room, but hold on, I got one more thing. And so sometimes we stay out there a little longer than we wanted to. But when we went in that bedroom, it was no more of it. And it was just us. Yeah. And then the next day, it's kind of funny. The next day or the day after, it was like, we ain't going to this living room, just go into the bedroom. You know, because sometimes people got to take time to adjust. You can't expect everybody just to get it and fly with it. A lot of times, you have to take it in and then you start watching actions. And I noticed it was just the bedroom, just the bedroom. They didn't want to talk no more because to them, we resolved it. And they love us just being that power couple where we are communicating and growing.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna lie, I like it. And I like the couch too. One time I played around with the couch.
Yeah.
What did I do? I was just playing. Get the bedroom. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have fun with whoever you with because life is really bringing you down, and y'all are the two components to keep things up. And the kids be like, why they always in the living room? Because you don't want to know what we're doing in the bedroom.
Right.
So you know that discussion was out there because y'all better not knock on that door when we go in there.
That's right. And stay away from the door.
Why them kids? You don't need to hear your mama like that. Go. Anyway. Yeah. We're gonna let that show go. Let that go.
Listen, I think a powerful point, and I think a positive, powerful point that Jay just made is when the double standards happen, you have to set boundaries to deal with the issues and have the conversation. Sit them down over a cold beverage or evening or maybe a morning prayer. You come together, you got to find a way to overcome it. And that's a part of the accountability because I may be praying with somebody who I totally disagree with. But the fact that we can come together and ask the Lord to help us to unify is that's all the magic you need, right? That's all the magic you need. I'll close by just saying, never let yourself be done wrong.
Yes.
That double standard can lean so far to the left, it's not even funny. We are not willing to be let ourselves be done wrong or be mistreated. Double standards don't go that far. We are pressing accountability long before it comes unfair.
Say it.
And with that, we'll close our show. This has been Bar Talk with Jay.
Yes.
My name Craftmatic. This is my boy Smooth Jay. And we want to thank you folks for being here with us this evening. We hope that you have gotten some good nuggets out of the show. Something that's going to improve your life, something that's going to improve your outlook, something that's going to get you through the hard times of tomorrow or next week or perhaps even next year. We're here every Thursday from 7 to 8, Facebook Live. Please like, share, subscribe. Tell all your friends and family to continue to come back and see us because we're doing nothing but dropping jewels here every single show.
Yes.
Never forget, folks, that we do this because we love you and we appreciate you. And with that, we are out.
Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk.